Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Um, yeah, go ahead and go live and I'll invite you on. I'll send you an invite. Go ahead and go live. Wait, do you follow me? I don't know if you. Well, it says we're friends, so I guess you do follow me. You got to come off of my You got to get off of my live, and you have to go live yourself for me to invite you. Yeah, go ahead and do that, and I'll invite you. Narda Bell, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Give her another minute. All right, there she is. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sweet, sweet.
All right.
Sometimes the sound be super janky, so I'll be like,
Got
let me
you.
make sure ahead of time. And I've done a few of these, and for some reason, I always try something different. Headset, no headset, another thing, and it always changes. One minute it works, and then I do another live, and they're like, "Well, I can't hear you," and I gotta find something else to do. Such a headache.
Technology.
Listen, that. But when it comes to this particular topic, I'll just go ahead and put this out there. It can be as long or as short as you want it to be. I don't have
Okay.
anywhere to be, but at the same time, we don't have to drag this out. I really just wanted to kind of have a dialogue because, when you do these TikToks, you can't really like get into it. So you kind of do
Uh
hot
huh.
takes and then walk away.
That was kind of the point. I feel like.
Right. I mean, I get that, but it was like it intrigued me because I've heard this before where and it's delivered in different ways. It's just the way that you presented it.
Okay, there we go. Sorry. No, my headphones are like giving me an echo, so it's
Gotcha.
distracting.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So
But yeah, I don't have anywhere to be either. I'm in for the night. I'm done for the day. Um, I mean, that I feel like hot takes, no nuance, kind of is this new trend that gives people freedom to let loose their opinions and then not have
mhm,
to explain them, which is fine. In in retrospect, I really don't feel like me having an opinion about um, apps being more useful than actual men. I I mean, even though I do feel like I had a point,
you
I'm
did.
like, do
You
I
did.
really need the does there really need to be nuance? Because even men use these apps. So it's like, come on.
So
Yes, it's kind of a joke, but at the same time, there is validity in what I'm saying.
I guess the my reason for even approaching it, because you have a solid point,
Hmm.
but I'm the type of person that I live in nuance. That's just me personally. I can't
Okay.
speak for anybody else. I live in nuance.
Okay.
So, you know, when it comes to that, that nuance sometimes um has an impact on this because like I said before, I've heard this before
Hmm.
from different people, different sides, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just kind of want to explore that.
Okay.
Because I don't know if I haven't looked at your comment section since you posted that video, so
Okay.
I don't know what type of reactions you've been getting, but I know
It
what
was
reactions
more
I've seen from
so
others.
because here's the thing. Why I posted that is because I said that in someone else's comment section, and everybody laughed. Everybody was like, "That's a very good point," and they were like, "I never even considered it." So I'm like, "What if I just made a video about that?" And just walked away from it because I got a good response from that comment. Now, I did get one brother in my comments was like, this was disheartening. And I'm like, sir, I understood the assignment. And I understand to a certain degree, like his stance was like, damn, like, am I really worthless? Am I really worthless to women? I'm like, sir, calm down. I don't think men are worthless or useless. I was literally saying that there are things that women require for men, and the men that are in our lives don't, they're not up to par for those certain things that we need, so we hire out. We will give another man money to do those things that they claim
Right,
that they can do for us but don't.
right.
So
What's
I
going
was
on,
like,
Wolf?
come on, like, are you offended, or am I telling the truth?
They are offended because you're telling the truth.
Thank you.
And that's why I like to live in nuance because it's like it sheds light, even if it's helping them to better understand. Because I know that not everybody is going to get this, and
Hmm.
I'll be honest. My initial reaction is not what you saw in that video. My
I
initial
know.
reaction, I fell out laughing because I did not see that coming at all. I see those. I see those. I see those. What is it? What is it that you want to say? Blah 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 blah. And I didn't know. I didn't realize because I look at the bottom. I didn't realize it was you, and
Okay.
then you pop up and you say this and I'm just like, that's hilarious. I
Because
fell out
it's
laughing,
true.
and then I had to go back and listen to it again. I was like, okay, I know that this was supposed to be hot take, but she said this for a reason because I've heard this before. And
Yeah.
from a male perspective, what's always interesting to me, because being a man, I can kind of relate to this. I've learned to manage it better than others, but as a man, we find a sense of, especially with black men, we tend to find our validity, our sense of being a man, in the fact that we are necessary.
Yeah.
Because so often we are told that we're unnecessary. We're told that we're less than, and all of that. We're told that by some black women. I'm not gonna say all. I'm gonna say by some black women. But I understand that the reason why a lot of them do that is because they've been disappointed and let down by some of us.
Uh-huh.
Then there's, white people and their racism in that
Mm-hmm.
whole conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's bosses at our jobs when they beat us down
Right.
verbally. We get it from so many ends that some of us don't even know how to unpack that because the one thing that we're never allowed to do is feel. So now, on top of that, you don't need us. That's literally kicking us while we're down.
Okay.
So there's a
Go ahead. Go
reaction.
ahead.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done because I really want you to talk about this. I really want to hear from you. I don't want
Yeah.
to dominate the conversation, but um, that reaction comes from that hurt place of,
Mm-hmm.
well, the one thing I had The one thing I had was being needed by you, and I don't even have that now.
Mhm.
What use am I?
Okay. Here's the thing. Women, especially, I'm speaking as for black women now, and not all women, but I'm like for a good chunk of us black women, I love to tell this to you. I love to break this to you. You're not needed. I love to break this to you, to black men, to men in general. You're not needed. However, you need, like, you're wanted. Being needed is out of obligation. To be wanted is out of desire. I'm gonna take it back to grade school. English. Want will always be greater than need. So it's like you're needed. I don't want to be needed. I want to be wanted. That's what I want. Because that comes from desire, that comes from this innate, almost primal instinct to actually want to be with someone on an intimate level. Need is obligation and necessity. And it's like, that doesn't even feel right. You're like a tool for me. If I need you, I need you to complete an assignment that I give you. Why would you want to subscribe to that? I don't understand that part. But I mean, I guess it's societal norms and the patriarchy and all that other bullshit. But it's like, when we say we don't need you, that frees black men. I really need black men to understand, like, when women say we do not need you, you are not necessary, but you are wanted, you are desired, you are coveted. That puts you at a different level for us. That puts you on a higher pedestal for us, instead of me needing you to do something for me, giving me something that I can give myself. I We require more because you can perform more. You just never have been put in a position to actually do more. Like, I don't need my significant other, my brother, my father, my best friend that's male to come into my space and put together a shelf for me or to hang up my TV. I can ask and they can say yes and never show up, but then I can get on my phone, I can hire someone that can perform that service for me. I can get it done. And then I realize that gives me some independence, and that frees you to actually doing something more constructive with your time and feeding into me on an intimate level. I really want black men to really, like, get out their feelings a little bit with this. Like, yeah, you're not needed. You're not. I don't need you. I don't need you to, like, to do things for me physically, but the
Mhm.
want will always be greater than the need. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and it's literally that right there, that key point that you just said, which
Mm,
is why I had this conversation. I wanted to explore it and unpack it because
right.
that's the part that often gets missed, and
Way.
why these conversations constantly happen. And again, and I don't want to harp on this too long, but again, the thing that keeps us trapped in that place, because I'm glad you said it frees us, because that's really what it is. The thing that keeps us trapped is that we our sense of identity is being needed. We were taught this, and
Right.
then we take that and we pass that on to the next generation, is that you are necessary, and which is why we kind of get into these gender roles where
Mm-hmm.
you got to be the one to fix the car, you got to be the one to change the light bulbs, you got to be the one to repair stuff if it's broken in the house. You're responsible for that because that's what that's what defines you as a man. When you become a man,
Right.
you are defined by these things. And so we go through life believing that. Then we project that on the women that we encounter. So when you say to me, "You don't need me," I'm immediately insulted. I'm
Right.
immediately offended when you said, "But we want you." That you're here because your desire. I can't hear you anymore.
And I
I
don't
can't.
like, that is so much better. That gives you so much power. It's so
Right.
freeing.
And we can't even see that. We can't even realize that a lot of times because we've immediately shut down. We can't hear you anymore.
Right.
when you said you don't need me, okay, whatever. You can keep talking and nothing is getting through anymore. I'm done. I'm done with this
You
conversation.
didn't hear, like
You
they
don't need
don't hear.
so so again it goes back to the key thing, and I'm really trying to get in a mode where I'm having these real conversations. I'm starting with my circle of influence, my own peers, and then
Hmm.
branching out from there where men, and I appreciate some of the creators on this app who are doing this consciously.
Yeah,
And that conversation with Wayne Brady really
it
opened a
threw
can of
me.
worms.
I
That really
loved
opened a can
every
of
piece
worms
of it.
because what it did, and it kind of ties into what I'm saying. What it did is we've looked at Wayne Brady for years, ever since Who's Line, and we looked at him as comedian, celebrity, all of these things. We put all of these titles on him,
Hmm.
but we never saw him as a man.
Never saw him as a black man, not just a
Yeah,
man, but never actually put him in the pet, like the same category that we put other black male actors or comedians: Eddie Murphy,
right.
Paul Mooney, uh, um, I'm just thinking of so many off the top of my head. What the Wayans, like
Mhm.
we don't put Wayne, we don't put him in the same category with all the other black male comedians, and I'm like, well, why?
Which is why it was so easy, and this is no shade to Paul Mooney, rest in peace. But
Mm-hmm.
it was so easy for him to make a joke like that because he looked at him the same way the rest of us do. But the
Exactly.
conversation that they had, and I'm glad that they were able to just go in the way that they did, is it humanized him in front of our
Mm-hmm.
eyes. We saw him in a way that we never pictured him before because he was then able to have a honest, transparent conversation. And of course, some people are like, "Oh, well, blah blah blah. He's still on that."
Don't take it
That
too so seriously. I saw that a lot of that in the comments, and I'm
yeah,
like, oh
there
my
was a lot of that.
god, not listening.
But it's like, how dare you? Because you don't know what that did to him.
Right,
You don't know that that was literally already an open wound, and Paul Mooney just hit an open wound. You don't know that because
right.
he talked about stuff that happened before that. They talked about stuff at the beginning of his career. So how dare you tell this man how to process his own trauma? How dare you tell him how to process his own feelings? He had an opportunity to now do that. But so often we're not allowed to do that because we get the exact same reaction. If we're having this conversation, I already can name some people off the top of my head who are sitting here right now watching this who would come and try to gaslight me.
Of
Black
course,
men,
of
black men.
course,
So
of course.
understanding that it's a thing where we fail to address our feelings. It's a thing where we fail to unpack why we feel the way that we feel so
Right.
we can hear the whole thing. So when you say to us, well, we want you, it's like, even if I have nothing to give her to meet her needs, she still wants me around.
Thank you. There's no that is where, like when you said that, when I said you're not needed, and that brother was like, this is disheartening, and I'm like, why? Can you tell me why this is disheartening?
What do
Can you articulate why do you feel needing you is more important than my desire to want you? What can you tell me why? And like you said, some men won't can't process beyond the fact that I've said that you aren't needed, you aren't necessary. I'm very grateful that for this, for to being present in this moment in time where women can be the breadwinners, can run businesses, can go to school, can get these degrees, these doctorates, can run successful businesses, more than one. And we have our freedom, we have our anonymity, our autonomy. We have these positions right now, but because we have them, men see it as a threat to their identity. And I'm like, why why is my success your downfall?
if you want to
Why
start a
is
fire? Yeah, if you want to
I want
start
to
a
start a
fire,
fight because I want to
no, no.
understand
Here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. Walk in a room full of people, and you say, ask the men, do it publicly. And I'm not saying do this. I'm just saying hypothetically. Go into a room with a group of men and in front of the women say, men, how do y'all feel if your woman makes 3 times more money than you make right now? and then walk out the window?
Okay. I don't. The only reason why I don't see any reasoning behind that is because for women like myself, I'm speaking for me. I'm always going to make more money than the men that I'm with. I've literally never been with a man that made more money than me. I don't know what that feels like. I don't know what that looks like. I can't. I'm always going to make more money. Money to me as a woman is my security,
Hmm.
is my freedom, is my protection.
Right.
Me making money more than whoever I'm with, like whatever man I'm with, it doesn't matter. I'm always going to do that. So I kind of feel like if I were to say how would you feel, I don't care about that. Like more women today make more, just as much, if not more, than the men that they're with, but
Hmm.
we are still systematically paid less to the dollar than our white female counterparts or our men that have lesser degrees than us, which is
Hmm.
asinine. But that's a whole nother conversation. If myself, like I have a bachelor's degree, and a man that has an associate's could still make 20, not 20, maybe like $10 more per check than me if I were to have a 9 to 5. And that's off the basis that I am single and I have no children. So
Right.
it's like, well, wait a minute, that is a whole other dead horse. But we open businesses more, we graduate more, so it's like we have other ways, other means to go around that obstacle to make money and
Hmm.
survive.
Yeah, and I do recognize that that is a thing that happens more often with women
Mm-hmm.
because of the need. It's like, well, you're not gonna give me what I deserve. I'm gonna go get it somewhere else. So it kind of ties back into what you're saying about these apps.
Mm-hmm.
You're not giving me what I need. I'm gonna go get it somewhere else. So it all makes sense.
Yeah.
The only reason why I brought up that scenario, only reason why I brought, because I get what you're saying about you don't care personally, and I get that.
Right.
The only reason why I
Yeah.
brought up that
Like
scenario is because of the reaction that would come from them.
I would prefer, now me, because I'm petty, I would prefer, how many men in here have finished college? I would go there. Because
Mm.
like you don't need an education to run a business. You don't need
You
like a
know,
degree to do that. You don't
I
need a
did two
degree.
years. Yeah, this is saying I did 2 years, and I didn't necessarily get a degree. I got
That's what I'm
certification,
saying. It's
but I
like,
didn't get a
okay,
degree.
let's have a conversation about education here. Because it's
Hmm.
like, are you intimidated by the fact that sis has a PhD? Are you intimidated by the fact that sis has a bachelor's degree? Because like I said, you can be a college dropout and be a millionaire. That's why I'm like, money doesn't really, I don't really see that argument as like a level where I would actually care. But like if I were to ask like men that were educated versus women, that's an argument that I would want to watch men and women have, because I feel like money is a cop out. I feel like the money conversation is like, mm-mm.
But you're right. It's a conversation that's very much alive and well,
Mm-hmm.
and I know this firsthand. I was actually a part of this is maybe about 3-4 years ago. I was actually a part of this singles group. Word to the wise, never do that. It's unnecessary drama. But the only reason why I did it, look, the only reason why I did it was because an acquaintance of mine was actually one of the people who started the group in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
and myself and a mutual friend were like, all right, let's check it out just to support her and blah 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 because she's trying to get this thing off the ground. And the purpose of the group was that I live in Atlanta, so all the people in Atlanta who don't really get out, who are just trying to meet folks to kind of do more stuff because they're kind of antisocial. They go to work, they go home, they go to the grocery store, whatever, and they don't really get out. This is an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to meet other people in that same thing. Literally, here's the funny thing. I only keep this because it's a mouse pad, but this is literally the thing. Singles for substance. This is literally what it is.
Oh,
Um, what?
okay. Go ahead.
No, I only keep. I'm sitting at my desk right now in front of my computer, so that's why I have this right here. But literally, it's a mouse pad that they decided to make, and I use it because it's comfortable. I don't give a crap what it
Uh-huh.
says on it. But the point is, while I was in the group, a majority of the people in that group, the age range had to be from, I'll say, 30, 31 on average, 31 to 50s, so like mid
Okay.
50s. That was
Oh.
the average age
Oh.
range. So, and there was
Uh-oh.
very few people my age. I was 27 at the time, 28.
Uh-huh.
So what was very interesting is the nature of these kind of conversations, and the biggest priority was money. These are all single folks, but the biggest priority was about money. And that very conversation that you don't want to have was the conversation they couldn't wait to have. And they argued
Wow.
about it daily.
Wow. What now? Okay. Now, when we talk about money and single people, I'm so confused as to what about money was so important.
Because they
Why?
treated this, because I'm gonna say this. The men treated it the way it was. Most of them treated it the way it was intended to be. It was just an opportunity to kind of connect with other people, have a good time, blah blah blah. A lot of the women,
Right.
I say about 75% of the women that were in this group were there to meet someone so that they would no longer
Oh.
be single.
Okay.
So with that, they're now gearing their conversations in that direction. They're putting certain tests on these men to see, okay, he's a candidate,
Oh,
he's
I
a
hate
candidate, he's a
this.
candidate.
Oh, I
And
hate
there was
this.
constant clashes on a regular basis. And so these type of conversations came up very, very often. And the biggest
Okay.
one was money. And
Okay.
the priority was that men need to make a certain amount to take care of women. Even with a woman having her own business, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs in there. There are a lot of people who, had multiple businesses, they had different degrees, they were making this and the third, different positions at their
Okay.
job.
Now I
But
get
their
it.
priority was still, you
Okay.
are a man, you need to be making a certain amount to take care of me.
Got it. So this is where I differ in that entire conversation because I always get confused why women associate what a man brings to them with money. I never understood that argument. Kind of like on TikTok, I saw this video repeatedly. I think it was a sound. I of this girl who was like, I told 3 guys today that I was getting my nails done today after work, and none of them offered to pay for it. What Okay, now that is on women. I hate that. I don't understand why I need a man to pay for my nails or my hair or my clothes. I don't understand that because that should be a part of your budget, sis. Like, I have a budget for this. I have a budget for these. I have a budget for my brow blading, my lash extensions, my cosmetics. I have a budget for those things. Why does a man need to come off of whatever he set aside in his budget to accommodate me? I don't understand that. And I feel like that is a conversation that women need to have with their therapists, with their CPAs, their financial advisors. I do not put men, I do not put a man's wallet in my bottom line. That doesn't I'm not even that great with money. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm not I have to hire people to make sure that I stay on top of my budget. I have apps for that. Why do women do that? I'm speaking as a woman. I am a heterosexual Black woman. I do not understand why women need men to pay for the things that they need for themselves. I, I at the very least, a man that is in a relationship with a woman needs to provide at least 2 things financially. Two, dinners, like dates, and the occasional trip to Target for her sanitary needs. Condoms, maybe birth control. If you want me not to get pregnant, you can help with those kinds of things. But when it comes to my grooming, no, I don't get that conversation. I don't even get that argument. Whenever it's like, oh, I need a man that makes enough so he can pay to get my hair done. I would never want to rely on a man. I would never want to rely on another male to pay for something that I need in order to function. Because if he ain't got it, I need to have it. So why ask anyway?
Right.
I don't under. I really, and I get that some women would call me a pick me, but it's just like my brain don't work like that. I don't want to count someone else's dollars. I can't. That makes me nervous.
See, and then I'm gonna tell you that's one of my phrases. I have a list. I have a short list since I've been on
Hmm.
TikTok of phrases that I cannot stand that need to be thrown away. And pick me has to be one of them because what pick me was supposed to be and what it has become since TikTok are two different
Two
things.
completely different
Every
things.
every time I see a video, I see at least one person. Did they pick you yet? On every video you have to do this. Every video.
And to a certain extent, I understand why that is. When it comes to white supremacy and racism,
Right.
yes.
Of
But
course.
when it comes to
And
like a
I talk about that on
financial,
my channel.
right, like when it comes to racial inequality, quality, misogyny, yes, that makes sense. But we're talking about personal finance. Why on earth do women do that? I really want a woman who has 4 or 5 niggas in her phone and has one for her car note, another one for her hair, another one for her nails, and another one for, I don't know, daycare or car. I don't understand why you need men to finance your lifestyle. I
So
would never want to be beholden to a man to finance my lifestyle. Oh God, that's prison.
okay, first of all, Wolf, yes to that. He said Hotep should also be on that list. I 100% agree because people have misused that so often and like they
Mhm.
label so many things as Hotep. It's like Hotep literally means peace. So I don't know why they keep throwing that word around in the way that they do. It's like look it up before you start using it. So yes, absolutely, that needs to be on the list. But the funny thing is that I realize a lot of times, and I mentioned the type of women who say this. It's not a need. It's definitely not a need. They describe it as a need because they feel like it's gonna have more weight to it. If I say
No.
that this is a need, then it's gonna have more weight to it. But they know it's not a need, especially because of the fact that most of the women who say this already have themselves. They already got everything covered. But they were taught that you were supposed to expect this.
Oof.
They were taught
Oof.
this. My mom said that you're
Or
supposed
my
to be
dad, or here,
XYZ.
or a beautiful one. When the father ain't shit, spoils the daughter, and has her expectations jacked up to the sky because he knows that in order to keep men like him away from her, he has to set her standards so high that it'll be
Hmm.
almost impossible for a
Hmm.
man to come into her life and fill his space, even though he cheats on her mother, he
Hmm.
beats her ass,
Hmm.
he lies, he
Hmm.
has to spoil the daughter in order to keep her in check for what he thinks a man would come and provide for her, which is nothing what he is doing. I see that a
I
lot.
I actually encountered that. I experienced that myself, because like I worked a bunch of blue collar jobs. I work in IT
Hmm.
now,
Hmm.
and you can stand to make decent money, but you're not gonna be rich doing this. That's the thing.
Right. My best friend
So
is in IT.
So with that being said, like I make a livable wage, but at the same time, I'm not balling. So if I come across a woman who expects me to be making XYZ, then I'm sorry, this ain't gonna work. I had
That's a
this young
damn
lady
shame.
who I had this young lady who I encountered, and funny thing was, it was kind of just we knew some of the same people, so we ended up
Hmm.
meeting that way. But we had no intentions on dating. We established that early on.
Okay.
We had a conversation online, and it was literally just kind of chopping it up about this and that and the third. And she was like, "I just want to let you know ahead of time. I'm not really looking to, date romantically. We can be friends, we can get to know each other,
Cool.
but I'm not looking to date romantically." I'm like, it's funny that you say that because I wanted to make sure that that was clear on my end too. It's nothing against you personally, because she was a cute girl and all that stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like I literally just got out of a situation, but I'm open to making friends. I'm at a place
Got it.
where I'm open to making friends, have a good time, no big deal. I said, is it possible for us to link up and have a conversation. Maybe have lunch. Nothing super romantic, just maybe have lunch, link up, have a conversation, kind of break the ice. She was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, that's cool." The initial here's what gets me is why her reaction ultimately was so shocking. The initial agreement was for us to meet at, it wasn't like a super fancy restaurant. It was like maybe like a Applebee's type spot. I know it wasn't
Oh,
Applebee's
okay.
specific.
Like a
It was that
bar.
type of spot.
Yeah.
So, it's not a fast food restaurant, but at the same time, it's decent, like a family
Yeah.
restaurant. So
Okay.
the day that we had picked was a Sunday, and it occurred to me. I was like, wait, Sunday afternoon, it's after church. People don't feel like cooking, so everybody and their mama out to eat. So the
Right.
places are gonna be packed. So the place that we initially went to, the wait time was like an hour and a half. It was like, okay, no,
Ooh.
we're not doing that. So let's find another spot in the area. Place I thought of suggesting, I was like, how you feel about Zaxby's? It's not super
Oh.
whatever, but at the same time, it's not the typical fast food restaurant. So
Okay. I know
and
Zaxby's.
it's,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna be crazy, so we can still have our conversation and get to know each other. She said, okay,
Right.
fine. We go there. I actually, even though it wasn't a date, I was like, I'll pay for your food. Just being
Okay.
nice, because
Okay.
you gave me your time, you came out. The least I can do is buy you food this time, whatever. Conversation was good. What's funny is that apparently in the back of her mind she was taking notes and judging me the entire time. She went back and she told her mom, her dad, her male friends. She told all of these people all of this stuff about me. She said he had the audacity to have me going to Zaxby's of all places, and he did this and da 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 da, just judging me. And I'm like, if it was an issue, why'd you agree to it? She said when she came at me later on, she said, not even my male friends. She said, my dad doesn't do this. Not even my male friends do this where they take me to anything less than a four-star restaurant. I said, but we're not dating though. She said, it doesn't matter. Even my male friends don't even do this.
I don't know what. I've got nothing. I've got nothing. I. Oh God. I don't even know how to respond to this because. Ugh, what do you do? Like sometimes I feel really bad for y'all. I really truly feel bad because I've had bad dates, I've had bad encounters, but I don't even I got nothing. I literally I don't. My expectations are not high at all. I when it comes to dating, I honestly, and this is me, this is based on my experience. Maybe I'm jaded. I don't know. I whip out my credit card first. I pay. I don't want I don't want any man to feel like I owe him something. I never want to be in that position where they think that because they bought me dinner or bought me a drink that I owe them anything. I
Right.
went I've had to ask men like, "Hey, does this offend you?" And usually they're like, no. Usually, or I don't know if that's out of chivalry or to save face. I have no idea, but I whip out my card first, always. I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind it. I don't have a problem. I don't feel less than. I don't. I just do it for me out of safety, security,
Right.
maybe. But
Right.
my expectations like the only time I've ever gotten offended at a man like where he takes me is if it's fast food. Like I've straight up had a guy be like, "We're going to KFC." You asked me to go out and this is where you want to take me? Really? Okay,
Yeah. Now, on a
fine. Like
date,
I
on a
get where
date,
this is
that's not where
going.
I'm going. Yeah. On a
Right.
date, that's
But
not, I'm
like
not going to KFC.
he's 4-star restaurant. I can take myself to a 4-star restaurant. I don't require that's not part I've got nothing. I don't know. I I
But it,
I feel
but I
sometimes
think
I
it
feel
plays a
sorry for
part into
y'all.
what you were saying. I think it plays a part in what you were saying though. It's like this is something that this is all she's known. And she ain't no rich
Yeah,
girl either. Like that's the thing. It's not like she was rich. But
right.
this is all she's known because people
She's
have
been
spoiled her.
conditioned.
Right. So
And maybe
now
I've been conditioned. I don't know. Maybe I've been conditioned to just take care of myself and not expect men to do well, like beyond above and beyond for me. Maybe I'm just conditioned for that.
the
I
difference is
mean,
the difference
hey
is
Jason.
yours is not necessarily a bad thing though. And that's just my opinion. Yours is not necessarily a bad thing. And the only reason why I say that is because in your case, you're trying to not only protect yourself, but at the same
Yeah.
time you're still trying to be respectful of your company.
Yes, because I again, I've never dated anybody that made more money than me. So I'm not going to assume that if I say, "Hey, let's go to," okay, I'm in Philly, so Steak 48. If I
Hmm.
say let's go to Steak 48, and he looks at me like I'm crazy, and it's like what do you like Steak 48? That's $100 per person. Okay, all right. I don't know. Like, I don't know what you want to do. Like I'll pay.
So I'll tell you if you say that to me, I already know I can't afford $100 a plate. One day, that day will come, but for right
Mhm.
now, $100 a plate ain't in my budget. So I'm gonna tell you, like if you say to me, hey, let's go stay for the um, I would love to, and I don't want to be a downer, but I'm gonna tell you that's not in the budget for me. Now your response is, well, I'll pay, I'm going, and I'm gonna, express my gratitude.
Right.
But I prefer that these conversations happen early
I do too, and
before
I and
getting.
I think that the expectations always need to be managed, and and even in business, I always have to manage my customers' expectations when it comes to shipping, when they're going to get their things, when they're going to be able to see their tracking. I always have to maintain expectations, and I guess it
Mhm.
just comes from my business mind. Um, Having a conversation curbs confusion later. Like we
Absolutely.
can talk about it. Why
Hmm.
are these conversations considered taboo or bad form?
You're trying to save
I
face.
don't get it.
You're trying to save face. This is all a part of the representative. If you know the first 3 months, and there are extensions for some people if they can keep it up, but for
Uh-huh.
most people, the first 3 months you're dealing with the representative. You're not dealing with the real
Okay.
person. So you know,
That's too
as a
much
part of
work.
it is.
That's too much
I'm and I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. This, and I tell everybody this. I'm so transparent. This one. I don't cheat.
work. Okay.
I don't try to front on stuff. I don't keep up any facades. I am considered what I would consider a lazy dater, where I do I do what is true to me. Like if I
Okay.
consider this to be a good date idea, I'm gonna do that. If I consider this to be romantic, if I don't think that's good, I'm gonna be transparent and tell you I don't think so, and I'm gonna tell you why. If you can
Okay.
convince me of otherwise, then okay, cool. But I'm gonna be transparent about that. When I say I'm lazy, I'm too lazy to cheat. I'm too lazy to keep up a lie. I'm too lazy to pretend that I got more money than I actually do. I'm too lazy to do those things. That's a lot of
Fair
work that
enough.
I'm not willing to do. Like, bruh, for what? For her to
Fair
find out
enough.
that you played her?
And that's a thing with with women with the communication portion that I feel like we're tired of that. We're so tired of having to pull the truth out of y'all. We're so
Hmm.
tired.
Yeah.
Like just say what's real and give us the opportunity to either decide that we want to deal with it or not. But so
Hmm.
many men manipulate women. And that was a conversation I was having today. So many men will manipulate a woman to telling her what they think she wants to hear, or performing for her to get what he wants out of her. And then when we get hip to game, when we understand that you are a narcissist, a liar, a cheater, and we recognize the patterns, the red flags, and we level up on our expectations and what the things that we want, oh, you got to calm down. You're not pretty enough for that. You're not smart enough for that. You got to calm down. You got to lower those expectations. Wait a minute, wait. I thought we have to stop choosing these men that are bad for us. And in order for us to do that, we have to see those qualities that we don't want in you and then change. So we
Right.
make the choice to do better by not accepting the bullshit. But when we
Mm-hmm.
do that, we're told that we're doing too much. So which is it? So which
It's both.
so what's the problem?
It's both because we flip flopping, and then and Cole said, "You ain't got to lie, Craig. You're not young or skinny enough for that." That's funny, right? Yeah, you're not young or skinny enough for that. You're
I
not
gotta
whatever.
accept crap because you can't rise to the occasion. That's not how
Right,
this works.
right,
That's not how this
absolutely.
works. So
So
I
we,
will go onto my phone, I'll fire up my iOS device, and I
Mhm.
will buy that dinner. I will I'll buy that dinner. I'll take myself to that resort. I'll go to the spa myself. I'll call someone to give me that massage to come over my house. I ain't got to go nowhere. I'll do all of those things myself
Have you ever
until
noticed?
the right person comes in.
Have you ever noticed that the and this is again generally speaking, there are always exceptions. How the ones who are in that category who do the most and put forth the most effort do that at the point when you're done.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
The reason why is again, if they are slacking off, like I said, you met the representative and they couldn't keep that up and you start to see the real them,
Mhm.
when they realize, oh dang, I showed her too much of my flaws, I showed her too much of the real me. Now she's about to go. I have to bring him back. Like I do. I know you thought your job was done. I need you to come back for a minute. I need you because we about to lose her. I need you to come back and get her. I need you to come back and get her. So then they say, "Oh, well, I can change," or I messed up. I know I messed up, but I'm gonna do better. Blah blah blah. And then they start doing because they have to show.
Yeah.
We've realized at this point, at the beginning of the 21st century, guys were just telling, and you
Yeah.
believe them. But
Yep.
too often that happens, so now we have to do a little bit. We got to spend a little bit. We gotta give you enough time. We gotta give you enough attention. We gotta brush off the side chicks for 5 minutes and say, no, you can't come around. No, like going over there. Should be back in 2 months. But but for now, I need you to go away because I'm focused. I'm focused, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
focus until I see you let your guard down again.
Right.
Okay, representative, appreciate you. Your job is done. Be easy, and they on their way to the next person
Right.
until you do it again. That's why that pattern happens is because this is not the real them and they know that. So it takes far too much energy and it goes back to what we're saying. It takes far too much energy to keep up that facade.
Right.
So because it takes so much energy, you can't maintain that. Just like,
Exactly.
you know, it's like holding a weight. You can lift it and you good. Come see me in about 20 minutes. So I gotta
ah.
oh, she looking at me crazy. Let me get it back up. Let me get it back up. Let me get it back up. And they
Oh,
gotta rush and get it back up real quick. All right. It's a constant thing.
right.
This is what I'm saying. I'm too lazy to do that. I do enough that is who I am.
Right.
And if I fall short on some things, I have two rules. I didn't mean
Mhm.
to get into this, but I want to go ahead and express this. I had two rules. One, don't
Okay.
challenge my manhood ever. I don't care how
Fine.
mad you get at me. Stay focused on the topic and don't challenge my manhood.
Fair.
Number two,
Fair.
if you if there was something I was supposed to do and I didn't do it or say and I didn't say it, or if there was something that offended you that I did or said there was a problem, tell me
Communication.
now.
Now,
Now. Don't wait.
here's the
Now.
thing. Here's the thing though. When we do that, because I have rules. I have three. I'm not repeating myself. I'm telling you once, and I'm gonna give you up to a certain number of tries to get it right. But I'm not gonna tell you when you fuck up the second time. I'm giving you one and only warning, because that's all I got time for. I'm busy. I got things to do. I got tons of things on my mind. I'm gonna let you know the one time. And
Yeah.
if you do it again immediately, you're gone.
Right.
You're
So
gone. I'm not doing that. Second thing. What? Go ahead.
no, because I think I think that what you're saying, um, there's a reason why I have it the way that I have it is because I've encountered that.
Right. You okay, so
And
you learned. Like if I've said something to you once and you immediately like you that lets me know that you aren't listening.
right,
That means what I said has no value to you. You don't care how I feel, what I'm expressing to you. That lets me know that I you don't care. So
mm,
why should I repeat myself? So I'm
right.
I'm not going to do it. The second thing,
So this
don't
so
quiz
it
me.
goes so
Don't
oh
quiz
don't
me.
quiz
Do not
wait
quiz
quiz you
me.
on what?
Don't ask me where am I at? Who am I talking
Um
to? Let me
right.
who you texting? Oh, do not quiz me because I didn't study and I'm not ready for a pop quiz. Don't
Hmm.
do that. I will be an open book with you. I'll let you know what's going on, what I have planned for the day, what I have
Right.
planned for the evening, this weekend, and that's as far as it goes. Do not quiz me. Don't do it. I absolutely hate that. And the last thing, um, my money's mine. Don't count my money. Don't have I have because of how I live my life and what I do, a lot of men, you spend a lot of money. You cost too much. Why did you buy that? That's expensive. Oh, you balling. That's insecurity to me. That's all I heard. You judging me on how I spend my money means you have a problem with the fact that you don't have any. That's a you problem. That is not a me problem. Like if
Hmm.
I want to and honestly, for me, I don't consider myself a person that spends money on things like I don't buy handbags, I don't buy shoes, like that's not me. But if I could go to the grocery store and pick up a $12 bottle of maple syrup and I'll have a dude next to me like, no, generic. Get the generic. Don't do that. I have my tastes. They're mine. You don't get to have an opinion on the things that I buy for me, that I want for me. If I want to treat
Listen,
you to something
if
new,
you get a $12 bottle of maple syrup, let me pull up your crib and taste it because I want to know if it's like
I
if
do
that
those things.
12.
I go to farmers markets. I like to do I like to
Yeah, I
invest
want to know.
in good food.
Yeah, I want to know because that sounds like the move right there. That sounds like that syrup will bless your life. $12.
It does. But I'm just saying, like, those are my rules. Like I immediately when a man has an opinion on how I spend my money, I immediately get triggered because I can sense the insecurity. I can sense that you have an opinion. You see what I do as wasteful to you because you can't keep up with me. And you're going to resent me the more money that I spend. The more that I spend, the bigger your opinion is going to be, the more you're going to voice it, the more you're going to judge me and shame me for how I move in this world. I do not want you. I don't
Right.
want to hear it. Those are my, and I don't
I
have a
think
lot of rules. I don't.
no, I think those make perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
I will supplement that last one by simply saying this.
Mm.
As a man,
Mm-hmm.
we having this dynamic. We're having this right here, right? At no
Mm-hmm.
point until I put a ring on your finger and you look me in the eye and say I do, should I ever have a conversation about your money.
And even then, I'm sorry.
Right. But
Even
but I'm gonna
then,
get to that. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that because that's a whole thing. There's a whole thing that goes in line when it comes to that, and I'm
right.
gonna get to that in a minute. But at no point should I ever have that conversation with you unless you're bringing something to my attention. Like if you come to me and you say, "Hey, what do you think about this? Let me ask your opinion." I'm not volunteering it. If you go and you want to spend your money, because you were spending it before I got here. You were
Thank you.
making it before I
Respect.
got here.
Respect my
So
money. Respect my wallet.
so
Respect me.
right. So this your situation right here, your household, that's your bubble. That's where you live. I don't I'm a guest. Until that
Thank
day where I
you.
put that ring on your finger, I'm a guest here. So I have to respect your house as that guest. I mean, I
Hmm.
can't come up in your refrigerator and I'm a guest, metaphorically speaking. But
No, but honestly, can I just let you know this one thing? That's like the best
uh-oh.
first date for me. That's the best first date. I love, instead of taking me to a restaurant, I
Mhm.
like to cook for men and I like to let them see how I shop. So, and that lets me know how they see money. That lets me know how they see how I move. That was a very good thing that I learned early because I remember I took a dude to Wegmans once and
Mhm.
just the things that he
Okay, I don't know
watched
what
me
Wegmans
do.
is. I'm sorry.
Okay.
What is
Oh,
that?
there's no Wegmans in the A. There
No.
are no Wegmans in the A. Okay, it's like two notches up from Whole Foods. Like you know
Okay,
what
okay.
Whole Foods is? It's like
Yeah.
two tiers up from that.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I don't think I've ever seen anything in there that starts at anything less than $10. I don't think I've
Mm.
seen anything and I'm talking paper plates. I don't think I've ever seen anything start at that level. But what I took a guy shopping with me because I'm like, you know what, I would rather cook for you. And this wasn't during COVID. This was during COVID, and we both had it, so we were both had the antibodies, so we were safe. So I
Right.
was like, you know what, I'd rather just cook instead of go out. Took him to Wegmans, and he was like, yo, how about we go to Giant? How about can we go to Target? They got groceries in there. Like you doing a lot, and I'm like, you're gonna be a problem for me.
I'm not buying groceries at Target. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'll buy like soda, milk
Yeah,
if I need it,
well, some like that, but
but I'm
I'm
not
not going
buying. I
grocery
mean,
shopping at Target.
produce, no. Produce,
Mhm.
I'm not doing meat.
Okay,
Hell
so
no. But
Virginia,
the point I'm trying to
Pennsylvania,
make
North
is like if you
Carolina,
want to
New York,
know
New
a
Jersey,
dude,
Massachusetts, Maryland.
if
So
you want
no,
to know if I want to know like a guy's intentions with me when it comes to how I move and how I spend my money, that is a very good indicator. Take them shopping with you, but you pay for your own things, ladies. I know I see some ladies like following me, like in this conversation. If you want to see a man in his habitat when it comes to money, you take him shopping for something as basic as food, not shoes, not clothes, a necessity. Take him shopping for an essential thing that you need and watch him lose his mind. That is a beautiful thing. Like the Apple store, take him to T-Mobile to get a new phone. If you take him shopping just to see how he moves in an essential environment, you will know whether you want to deal with that man in the future or not. You'll get
and
rid of him almost immediately.
that's first date. You're talking.
Yeah,
That's deep.
I'll cook for you first.
I have never heard that before, but I'm not mad at it. Like that's
I am so smart. I get rid of so many men. I get rid of so many men just off of that one trick.
I feel you. I feel you. Because I don't think I necessarily I don't think I've used the outward um experience to necessarily like filter out women in the same
Why
fashion.
not?
I have because I never thought about that. Like that's new to me. Like I just never thought about it. I
You
am
gotta like
my
know. You
my
gotta know
because
who you're dealing with.
okay, so here's how my dating changed. Because it used to be a thing where I was prioritizing. Okay, I want to do something I like, and so I meet somebody who likes what I like, and so we're gonna go do something I like, and therefore, regardless of if we go on a second date, I had a good time because this is a thing I like, whether you're here or not.
Mm.
Here's how it changed. Watch this. This is how it changed. I went from that because I realized that on top of that, a lot of times, of course, I'm paying for these dates. That's a whole thing right there. That um I'm not really getting anything as far as who you are. Like
Right.
past past the representative. So
Right.
what I found out is women often open up in certain environments in
True.
ways that they don't open up in other environments. One of which is a bookstore.
I've done that.
There is a door that unlocks when they walk into a bookstore that I never would have thought, because I come across all these women that read.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you like to do? And literally the first thing, they'll list a whole bunch of stuff, and the thing at the top of their list is reading. Okay, cool.
Let's go to a
So the
bookstore.
first encounter, so the first encounter, I'm like, let's go to a bookstore. Barnes and Noble's up the street or wherever. Let's go to a bookstore. And that served two purposes. I could eliminate dates because I'm not spending a whole bunch of money. Like you, there's like a Starbucks. Listen, we this is an investment. This is an investment. When you having that conversation with men, this is a part of our conversation. That's an investment. I'm literally spending my money. I'm expecting something. For some men, they're expecting,
Yeah,
for other
that's
men
fine.
like me, I'm expecting a second encounter. I'm expecting time in the future with you. So if
Fair.
this is the last time I see you, this was not an investment that had a return. So
Ugh.
so
Oh,
when it comes to
no.
this, I know it's weird how I said that, but like I said, the return for me and men like me, the return is literally spending more time with you, getting to know you, further
Fair.
encounters.
Okay.
So when
Hey,
we
Ricky.
when we go to this bookstore, there's a
Uh-huh.
Starbucks off in the corner somewhere. What's a cup of coffee? Few dollars. Or if you don't
Okay.
drink coffee, tea. You know what I'm saying?
Even
Because I
cheaper.
don't drink coffee. So few dollars for a cup of coffee. We're not
Mm-hmm.
stuck here. So if the encounter is bad, we could literally walk out the door and never see each other again. We're not stuck here. If you go to
Right.
dinner on a first date and the encounter is bad, you're stuck there till the
Horrible.
check comes.
Yeah. Or
You got to
if
go
you
through
like
that
me,
whole.
get up and leave. You get up. I mean, again, I am rude. I'm not nice. I'm like, okay, this isn't it. I can't. This is why I honestly I quit dating. I don't like it.
You're
I
blunt, and I
really
and I,
hate
and
it.
that's one of the reasons I started to follow you, because you're so blunt.
I hate it. I'm
And
not
that's
nice. Like, I'm not. I the last the last no, you're not. You can get up and leave. Yeah, I leave all the time, Ricky. I please, you know me. Um, but for me, when it comes to first of all, I don't turn my nose up at a coffee date. I coffee is in my blood. If you want to
mhm,
impress me, you want to show me that you're interested, do not buy me flowers, do not buy me candy. Bring me a box of my favorite coffee, Keurig ground, or favorite cold brew. Like, pay attention to those things. But again, that is just me. I don't have the same
no,
expectations that a lot of women
no, no, no,
have
no, no,
because
no.
I don't center what I value in a man to his pocket. And I really, really think that when women stop doing that shit, things in dating and relationships will shift. When you
Mhm,
guys do, when women stop circumventing a man's value to just what he holds financially,
mhm.
things will begin to get better when it comes to relationships in
Facts,
society as a whole, because
facts.
women now do not need men to
Mhm,
facilitate their lifestyles at all anymore. Now there are some women who's like, listen, I don't want to work, I
mhm.
don't want to do nothing. I don't even want to have kids. I just want to be taken care of. You have some women that want that lifestyle.
Right.
I hate to break it to you, sweetie, but that lifestyle is dying. We can't require men to just come to us with a fat wallet. It's not going to work no more. We can't. it doesn't work. We're expected to be educated and have our own too, in addition. But I really want men to stop looking at women as gold diggers, because when they come encounter with me and it's like, sweetie, not only do I not care how much money you do or do not have, I'm almost certain that I'm going to make more than you anyway. So why would I care? I'm not, I prefer it. I prefer to make more money than the men that I date, because that gives me the power over what happens from the first date thereafter. If
Right.
I know, I always whip out my credit card. I always do it. And then I don't know if that is intriguing or off-putting to a man. That does not concern me. It doesn't, that does not matter. That's why this conversation we're having right now is centered around apps, like, and men. That is what I mean. I can do for me because my credit card, my debit cards are always on. I can always get on my phone and I'm like, okay, I need some milk. I'm not gonna call Rashid. I'm gonna go on Instacart. I'm gonna go on GoPuff. I want some chips. I'm not gonna ask somebody to bring me food. I learned early that that's not going to work. I learned I cannot rely on a man to make me comfortable. I only have me. And again, that frees y'all to a certain level. I don't want men to see that as an insult. It frees you to think of something else that you can provide for us. Okay,
I
hold on.
think
My friend,
that
hold on. I have a friend here who says, but what if he wants to do those things for you just to do it? That's a bonus. Go ahead.
because that was literally where I was going. I'm so glad they said that. That's literally where I was going. Here's why these two concepts go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can find a man who actually genuinely understands, I do meet and greets at Starbucks. That's what's up. That's what I'm talking about. I don't drink Starbucks, but I love to meet in those kind of places because it's like a real chill environment. But here's the
It
thing.
is.
If you come across a woman, if you come across a man who can understand and appreciate that and has enough security within himself not to be offended and threatened by a woman who says that, it, as she said, it frees him up, but it
Mm-hmm.
also challenges him to now be creative. If
Yes.
if we're having conversations, because on the time, because this, and this is why, like for me, my process of intimacy, without getting too personal, my process of intimacy is different from a lot of people. So there are a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things that are left out of the equation, because for me,
Mm-hmm.
intimacy is finding out about you here. Because while I'm doing that, I'm learning what things matter to you. If
Thank
it's
you.
something related to your business, if it's something related to, okay, I'm out here, I'm doing this, I'm saying, I got to get my coffee, blah 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 blah. I'm gonna be like, okay, she don't necessarily need this because she could easily buy it herself. But if I surprise her with it, it's gonna kind of light up her day. So I'm gonna show up with a thing of coffee. I'm gonna show up with a gift card to your favorite coffee shop, or I'm gonna show up with some type of something that helps your business. You didn't need it, but it's me saying to you, I value this thing that is a part of your makeup, and now I am sewing into that because I believe in you. I believe in this thing that you're doing, and now that value is now a part of me.
Thank you.
I'm now free to continue to do that on a regular basis. I don't have to be a one and done. I'm free to
Thank
do
you.
that on a regular basis
Thank you.
because of the fact that I'm not restricted to meeting requirements.
Thank you. Oh my God. It's not hard. You got it. It's not hard. Like the guy in my comments that was like, this is disheartening. And I'm like, okay, sir. If I am telling you, I'm freeing you from that. What if he was paying attention? Okay, you don't need me right now, right? What can I assist you with? Okay, like say if, for example, I have asked my brother and my best friend to hang up this damn TV and put it on the wall. None of them have done it. That brother could have been like, "Is there anything that you need help with?" I know you are out of state. Let me get an Amazon list together of all the things that you're going to need to be able to do this yourself. Let me help you level off a shelf. Let me help facilitate the tools that you'll need to get this chore you have in your house done. Or my brother, I have a friend in your city who's a handyman. Let me call him for you. These are things like that is equity. That is what we want. I want you to at least try to fill the void or the gap that this app that I'm going to pay for,
Uh-huh.
you don't need that now. You have me. I'm coming in and I'm filling that void. Yes,
Right.
apps are great. Yes, they're quick, fast, and in a hurry, but I am going to fill that void without complaint, without animosity. I'm going to be creative now, like you said, because I'm paying attention.
Hmm.
So many men just look at just the surface level of things. They're not thinking beyond, they're not thinking outside of the box because they think we're more complicated than we actually are. Not complicated. Not even if I don't know how to be complicated. I don't know how. It's too much energy, it's too much work. I'm a Leo, I don't care.
That is it. I, it makes sense now. It makes sense now. I'm an Aries, and now I'm like, yo, like I gel with her, and now I understand why.
I'm a
Because you're a
Leo,
Leo.
I don't
Yo, you and Sagittarius are like my whole mood in people. Like y'all are literally my mood, and so this is starting to make sense to me. But 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 that was the reason why I wanted to have this conversation and do it
care. Hmm.
in this kind of capacity,
Hmm.
because anybody who pulls up, and people have been popping in, popping out, or whatever case may be, and Cole, I appreciate you
Hmm.
sticking with me this whole time, because you are, first of all, I gotta highlight her comment because she was patient. She said, "Into me, see," which equals intimacy. Is like she literally broke it down. She said, "Into me, see," and I was like, "I have never seen it that way," but yo,
Yeah,
that need to be on a t-shirt. I'm gonna put that
I
on a
think it is.
t-shirt.
I think that
If it
is.
is, if it is, I'm going to get it. That's
my
deep. I
friend
love it.
Ricky, my friend Ricky is like, some women do that to guys too. Men are so simple. Exactly. That's why I think I get along with men a lot more than women, and it's not
Mhm.
because women, there's like this whole thing that women are catty or just no. I have that idea that things are a lot more simpler with men than they are with women because we tend to overcomplicate things because that's how our brains work sometimes. And I get it. Women give men far too much credit in certain things where it's just very, very simple. And I admit I am guilty of that. I put a little bit too much on the opposite sex when it comes to certain aspects of their performance, and it's not fair. Societal pressure, societal noise. But then again, I remember those things, and I take a step back, and I'm like, now if this were me, how would I react to this? I try to like put myself in men's shoes a lot because I do agree, y'all, especially black men, especially y'all. It's it's so hard to be
Mhm.
vulnerable. It is so hard to say what you mean and not be judged for it. And I try to like just I for the life of me, when I talk to men and we're at a disagreement, I'm constantly asking, can you tell me why? Can you express yourself to me why it is that you feel this way, why it is that your brain thinks that we're like this? Explain it to me. And then when I do that, it's like, wait, what's happening? She wants to hear me. Now I don't got nothing. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to. I've never encountered this. The brain kind of goes into overdrive.
Yeah, because we're because you know how when something happens, your adrenaline gets flowing, and you're just and then by the time it's over, you're like, what just happened? That's
Right.
us. We're always there because we're always on. We're always in defense mode. Um,
So are
I'm
we,
gonna kind of, I'm
black
gonna kind
women.
of, I'm gonna kind of backtrack just a little bit to kind of finish my point about my second rule because I think it ties into this point. My second rule, as I mentioned, did or didn't say something, whatever the case may be. If it's not if it's an issue, bring it up early,
Yeah.
because two things are happening. One, we're able to address the issue itself, but you're also, for those who've never experienced that before, you're kind of training them, because we kind of still need to be trained, even though, you're not.
Yep.
I don't want to raise a man. I don't want to teach a man how to be a man. But at the same time, there are some things we still need to learn.
Yeah.
So this is
That's fair.
so this kind of separates it from, you're training me how to be a man, but you're literally teaching. You're teaching intimacy. You're teaching understanding emotions. That
Right.
has nothing to do with me personally. You're teaching emotions, something you probably understand a little bit better than he does. So the more experience he has with that, where you're not necessarily sitting him down and saying this, and this is how you do that. You're walking him through, it's on the job training. So if you're saying, I want to have this conversation with you, I'm the type of person, the first time I did it, it was rough.
Oh.
But as I had more practice with it, I started to learn how to have a healthy relationship. The reason why these relationships ended was for other reasons. Either they had other priorities, or um, fill in the blank.
Anything.
But it
Yeah.
wasn't. But it wasn't. But it wasn't this anymore. So
Okay. It's I hear what you're saying. And a
so
lot of things with women, they don't want to listen with intent to understand what's being said to them.
right. So what you do. So what I do in those situations, and what we'll eventually learn how to do, if especially in your approach to it, I say, come talk to me. And you don't have to be super soft and gentle with my feelings. Be honest. Be honest. Say, Jay, I want to talk to you about something. You did this, and this, and it made me feel XYZ.
Okay, fair.
What can we do about it? Because what you're doing is, you're holding me accountable for my actions, but you're staying focused on the topic, and you're not putting me down. So now I don't have to
Right.
be defensive, because I'm not on trial. The action is.
Right.
The action,
With the
which I
thing
can
that
be
you've
separate from.
done.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can be separated from that action, and that is not a reflection on my character. You're talking about the action. Well, I did do that. And there may be a reason why I did it. Maybe this is what I've always done. Maybe
Right.
I didn't realize that this is something that's offensive to you. Maybe the last person who I dealt with didn't have a problem with it. There may be
Right.
a number of reasons, but by you coming to me the way that you did, we can have that dialogue. And now
Right.
we can do next steps. Okay, in the future, maybe I was a little sensitive. Maybe, um, that shouldn't bother me as much as it did. Well, I'll say, well, maybe I need to be more aware of how this affects you, blah, blah,
Right.
blah, in the
Because a
future,
lot of
whatever.
women are triggered by past relationships and will bring that baggage to a new
Hmm.
relationship without having dealt with previous issues, and that comes
Right.
back to going to therapy. Like there are
Hmm.
certain things that I'm not talking to men about because it ain't got nothing to do with you. It's my shit, and like we got to
Right.
have a conversation about therapy and in the Black community. Hey Ziggy, hey
Facts.
baby, like we
Absolutely.
got to have a
Absolutely.
conversation. Like I don't understand why, especially Black men. Oh my god, I don't, I communicate specific things that are a problem for me with the other person, not experiences of ex past life. I'm not doing that because you are not my ex.
Hmm.
You are not that person.
Hmm.
Unless there are traits, because Black women do this. I don't, or people who date the opposite sex do this a lot, or people who date in general will bring that person, that ex, and find traits of that ex into the new person, and then wonder
Hmm.
why they are triggered constantly by past behavior. Like, sweetie, you're dating the same person,
Yeah.
and you're
I've
not
lit.
dealing with traumas of your past. You're not dealing with those things. That's why therapy is so important, and that's a whole other conversation. But
Yeah.
it's not. It's honestly
the
not
last person,
fair.
the last person I dated did that. Now she's
Yeesh.
married now, so whatever.
Okay.
But at the time that we dated, like, we had those honest conversations about some of her past stuff and past trauma, whatever the case may be. And I was honest with her. I said, I can't fix your pain. I can't love you through your pain,
Right.
like some people say. This sounds good, but it's like, I can accept you for you. and support you while you go through your process. You got to do
Right.
what you got to do for your process, and I can support you in that.
Right.
On several occasions, whenever there was conflict, the first thing that would come out of her mouth is, "Well, I went through that, and I'm not going through that again."
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you
That
talking about?
has nothing
I
to do with
hate when
me.
people bring up their ex. I
Yeah,
hate it. I'm not doing it. I'm not bringing up my ex. You don't need to bring up your ex. Do we need to go to therapy? Do you need to talk to somebody about that? Because I'm not a therapist. I
but
pay
that
mine very good money. I got one.
right.
I'm not gonna be yours.
But the rule, but my rule, what it does, in us approaching it the way that we do it and having that dialogue and coming to some type of compromise or agreeing upon this is what to look forward to going forward. If it's me
Mm-hmm.
doing that less or you accepting it more or whatever the case, whatever the compromise is,
Yeah.
that will eliminate the issue that you had when you said
Right.
earlier, if you do it again, then I'm gone. Well, you don't have to worry about that because we talked about it and we've now come to an agreement. Now, at
Right.
that point, if it happens again blatantly in the same way, oh, that's all him. Chunk the deuces and going about your business. That's all him.
I do that all the time. I do it all of the time. I don't even have to like women tend to ignore red flags,
Hmm.
and a red flag, like, and honestly red flags are subjective. I'm like, my red flag may not be your red flag or her red flag, but I'm very clear about mine. Like I said, I do not like to repeat myself. I'm going to communicate to you one time, and if you do not hear me that one time, I'm ghost. I'm gonna put my business out there. I'm gonna share this one because I am not embarrassed about this. This was fun for me to do. Um, I was dating a gentleman. I want to say this was two, maybe 3 years ago. And I said immediately, because I am judged by this from men. I have a higher sex drive,
Okay.
so I get judged for that, and I'm like, whatever. I let this guy know, like, buddy, you may be finishing, I'm not. Let's fix this. I said it one time, and he goes, okay. I've never had a complaint before, but I'm listening. I said, well, you might not have had a complaint before because no one was brave enough to tell you. But
Mm,
I'm telling you, I like you. I want us to like continue this. I want to fix this.
right.
Immediately went back at it again. He did it again. I literally had just said it. Maybe 5 minutes had passed, and I'm like, are you ready to go? Like, I'm ready to go again. Let's go again. Okay. Did it again, and then looked at me like I was like, okay, let's watch Rick and Mort. Excuse me? And then I was
Right.
like, so are you gonna make sure that I'm good? No. I'm gonna call my Uber. I got dressed. I got in the car. He's like, you want me to call you a car? I mean, I could pay for it. I said, no, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm
There's
fine.
nothing you can do for me at this
I'm
point.
fine. Got in the car, blocked his number, never spoke to him again.
Yes, at that point, your my needs have not concerned you up until this point. What do you care about me getting a car? There's literally nothing you can do for me. Bye.
I'm done. I'm done. I literally never spoke to him again.
Yes. Yo. Oh my God.
I'm not complicated. I'm not that complicated.
That's not because. Okay.
Yeah.
So. he- Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna literally kind of support what you're saying with another thing that recently came across my desk, so to speak.
Okay.
This is not a personal experience, but this is something that this person, a friend of mine, shared publicly, and she expressed her previous encounter with a dude that she was dating some time ago, and she went so far because she says he's not doing it. He's not hitting those notes that
Got
she
it.
needs him to hit. She said, "Okay, this is what I'm gonna do for him," and I'm like,
No.
women, women, and of course not all, but women have been so generous when it comes to this. Not only have they protected our egos,
Yep.
But they have gone so far as to say, you know what, I'm gonna help you out.
No.
She look. I know. There's a line based off of what our discussion. I know you draw a line, so I already know what I'm about to say to you. Absolutely not. I
Go
get it.
ahead.
So hear this because this person's a little bit more forgiving than you. She went so far as to actually do a spreadsheet.
Oh my god.
She did a full spreadsheet,
Oh my
not
god.
a Word document, a
Oh my
spreadsheet
god.
of all of the things. I like this. I like that. This,
Oh
that,
my
the third.
god.
This happens. This. Dude, you had a cheat sheet to the entire
No.
test. You had a cheat sheet to the entire test. The whole test
No.
is right here in front of you,
No.
and he still failed. I said, my dude, you don't ever need to be with another woman as long as you live. When she gave you a cheat sheet to the test and you still failed.
This is why. This is why I say no. Too much work. No return on investment of time spent. No, I'm going to communicate one time. Now, okay, my friend Ricky in the comments is like, well, that situation can be talked about in a few good ways, in my opinion. Now, Ricky, can you elaborate? Because I said I'm not finishing. I literally
I'll,
made it clear.
yeah, I'm gonna
I'm not
pause on that. I want to
finishing.
know. I'm gonna pause because
I
I want
need
to know
to
what he
finish.
said.
If I don't finish, and I said, if I don't finish, I'm going to want to go again until it happens. That is how I am set up. I'm going to want to keep going. So, can you keep up with me? Is that okay? I don't understand why I communicated my needs. I said what I said and I meant it. And immediately disregard. I swear to you, it was like a minute by minute thing. We were having sex. He finished. I did not. I spoke up. We went back at it. He did it again. I left. It was literally within a 30-minute span of time. So it's like, I don't understand. It's like when women communicate and you guys don't hear us, it's like, we're the bad guys. What do you want me to do? Like, you say we don't communicate, and then when we communicate, you can't handle the communication. And this is why I say apps are great, because
Yeah.
apps are fantastic for me, because if I want to date, I can. If I want
Hmm.
food, I can. If I want to go somewhere, I can. I literally do not need. I do not need. There's no need. There's zero.
Yeah.
So what is the problem? There shouldn't be a problem now.
Shouldn't be.
Again, there shouldn't
Shouldn't
be a
be.
problem with that.
And listen, and that's why I do edit your video without saying anything. I purposely did that where people can clearly hear exactly what it is that you have to say because you're 100% correct. But I wanted to address this in a way that it sheds some light on those who miss it. Now, if you miss it after this conversation, because I'm actually gonna try, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and let me ask you first.
Go ahead.
Do you mind if I post this on my YouTube?
I do not mind this. I do not mind that at all. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay,
Please.
so I'm gonna because
Please.
I'm gonna save this and I'm posting it on my YouTube. But at this point, people who see this don't have an excuse anymore because the bottom line is when you hear a woman say, because this is going to happen again, you're gonna come across a woman. Anybody who sees this video, you're going to hear a woman say this again. It's gonna happen. It happens all the time with the women that I encounter, where they say they don't need a man, and it's very clear.
Yes.
Now, the reason why they're saying that, and Wolf, I got you, but I'll put it like this: anybody who wants to come to my YouTube channel, until I get everything lined up, because I got to change the username to match everything else.
Uh-huh.
Until then, just go to my bio. I have a beacon where it takes you to everything.
Right.
I just kept it simple like that. But um, whenever women say this, hear the whole thing. Don't
Yes.
stop. Don't stop at we don't need you, because we have an issue with that, and that's why I'm getting to a point where I'm having more uncomfortable conversations with men because there's a lot of things that we have carried for a long time. We've pushed on other men that we gotta unpack.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things
Please
we gotta
do, because
unpack,
they're not listening to
and
me. They're not listening to us. They're
we're
not.
not we're not
They're
gonna hear
not
you.
gonna. And I'm like, okay, you don't have
We're
to.
not gonna hear you. We're not gonna hear you. I'm gonna tell you this. You and I can post a video and say the
Mhm.
exact same thing word for word to men, and they're gonna hear me before they hear you. I know
Oh
this from
yeah. Oh,
experience because
absolutely.
because I get ooh. This is a perfect example. How we first came across each other. I came across one of your videos, and it was around the time where old boy was being like super toxic or whatever, and he
Oh
was like
yeah,
saying
the
he
box,
was
the wannabe
masculine.
boxer.
Yeah, him.
Was it the
So
wannabe boxer?
so what happens is, and it didn't necessarily happen with him, but other people have been just as problematic with the same takes,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them probably even followed him.
Oh
But
yeah.
um, they'll say all of this stuff, and then you'll respond, and then he'll oh and then I'll come back, hey, bro, nah, that ain't it, and then I'm literally say the same thing. You know what? You got a point there. I ain't even think about it like that.
But
I literally,
I said the same. I said the
but
same.
you were speaking womanese. We don't understand womanese.
Ah, ah. Like
That's all I got.
even though I am a woman. So oh, the guy I posted this. Like I don't really think that men understand that before we're women, we're human.
Right,
I'm a human before I'm a woman.
right,
So there are a lot of things within men and women that are very similar
hmm,
because we are human first. We are not our
right,
gender first. And I don't understand. I'm beginning to understand that that's what the problem is. That's what the disconnect is between the sexes. We do not see each other as before we see each other. In order for us to see each other as equal, we have to see each other as human first. And we do not do that. We see each other as male, female, men,
appreciate
women,
the
and
follow,
that
Wolf.
immediately puts the divide up. And it's like, well, wait a minute. We are human too. So
Right,
you gotta like take the gender roles out of it because that is what is dividing us essentially. I do not require I learned this very early on in like my past relationship. Like I could say, like, babe, you take out the garbage. And then I'm like, that's his role, right? My role is to clean. My role is to cook, right? But these are basic human necessities in order to survive. You don't want to live in filth. You got to feed yourself.
right.
Why are our gender roles so are based around our survival as human? That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. Because whether you're here or not, I still got to take out this trash. I still got to cook. I still got to clean. So
It's
what?
it's 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 based off of it's based off of a very old way of life.
Mm-hmm,
I hate to bring this up as an example, but it goes back that far. You think about before things were like civilized, so to speak.
mm-hmm,
There was still, in order to survive, you had the man who was the
mm-hmm,
hunter. He was the
mm-hmm,
protector. He was the this and the that. And then you had the woman who was the caretaker of the household or the cave or hut or whatever.
mm-hmm.
So so you had these roles established so long ago, and they're perpetuated, not acknowledging nuance. Things have changed.
Yeah.
These nuances are facts that women, a lot of women, if not, have outnumbered us in as far as entrepreneurship. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to education, they have rivaled, if not outnumbered us when it comes to degrees acquired. The list goes on and on about
Mm-hmm.
how you have done all of the things to establish yourself as equals. We just fail to acknowledge you as such. But you've
Right.
done if you do strictly off of credentials, you've already established yourself as equals, if not exceeded those. So because we fail to break away and acknowledge these things, we still are stuck in that same program in that same way. And so your job is this. my job is that. Not even thinking about, yeah, that don't make no sense.
Ricky is like, men were and still are Fred Flintstone. Women were and can still be Wilma. Uh, uh,
Really?
uh,
Really though?
why? I mean, no, I'm not even gonna say why, because I remember the episode where Wilma was outperforming Fred in business. I think it was something around pies or some shit.
Mm,
Wilma was surpassing Fred because
I
she
can see that.
had the mind to critically think how to run a business, and Fred was all about money, 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 appearances, appearances, and it's like Wilma was like,
Right.
let's just sell the recipe, bruh, and let's take this money and reinvest it. I remember that. No, no,
I could.
no. I know,
I
Ricky.
haven't
I
seen.
know. He's like, no, I was using that to support his statement. I get that. It's just no, I don't take it as a
It's
negative way, Ricky. I don't. I get what you're saying, like, but we're still stuck in that, is basically what you're saying.
absolutely.
We're still stuck in this Hanna-Barbera cartoon of life where women I don't have a caretaker bone in my body. I'm not a mom. I never will be. I once I realized early that I'm not a mother. I'm not a wife. I don't have those criterias in me, and I used to feel really bad about that.
Mm,
We put these ideologies on women and men that we're supposed to be these things. We're supposed
right.
to be mothers, we're supposed to want to be wives. And when we live long enough to realize this isn't what this isn't what we want, this isn't how we are, we get told that there's something wrong with us, that we're not worthy, that there's a problem, that we need to seek therapy. But it's like, hold on, it's because of therapy, it's because of my past experiences that I've realized that I'm not made for that. I'm
Mm,
not manufactured to be a wife. I'm not made to be a mother. I don't have those characteristics, those instincts to perform those roles. So that does that mean I'm not a woman now? Does that mean I'm not worthy of a partnership of some kind? And I think we need to explore that conversation with men as well, because some men, they y'all not supposed to be husbands. You're not supposed to be fathers. You're not supposed to be. And it's
I can name
fine.
some that fit that criteria. Absolutely.
It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you let societal pressures, roles, norms just define that in you, and you
Mhm.
feel like you have to live up to those expectations. For whom? For whomst? Who are you doing this for?
I always,
Why?
I always, I always love and this is exactly why I live in the realm of nuance, because the conversation is going to change
Mm-hmm.
depending on who you're talking to, what their walk of life is, what their path, their destiny, if you will. You
Mm-hmm.
know, prime example. First of all, let me go acknowledge Wolf. It said it's better than passing trauma on to the kids and getting PPD. I'm not sure what PPD is.
I think you mean PSD. That might be what it is.
Okay,
You
okay.
might
That if it's PSD, then yeah,
PTSD,
okay, facts.
PTSD.
It might be. But yeah, facts. What's very interesting, like when we, because the conversation has been coming up a lot more lately about like polyamorous relationships and that kind of thing. So a lot of there's this strong stance on one side or the other. Postpartum depression. Depression. Gotcha,
Oh,
gotcha, 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 gotcha.
okay.
It makes a lot of sense. Okay, so there's these strong stances on either side where people are strongly for it or strongly against it, and it's like I don't have any feelings towards it. I know it's not for me, but I'm
Right.
not gonna I'm not gonna jump down anybody's throat who's doing it,
Throw about it.
because if it works for you, there are certain conversations you had to make that work. You had to have agreements about who does what this, that, and the third.
Open
You had to have
relationships,
conversations.
all of that.
You had to have all those conversations. Conversations I don't feel like having. If I'm with
Fair.
you, I want to be with you, and I don't care about what's out here, and I want to feel like you look at me the same way.
Fair.
So that doesn't work for me, but I'm not going to shun anybody else. But that plus the conversation about money when it comes to marriage, and this is why
Hmm.
I said that it's a little bit of a different conversation, is because it works differently, because you're in the household together, you're joined as one, and what you do now affects another person directly.
Right.
If we're dating and you go out and you spend money on whatever, if you want to buy that $12 bottle of syrup, that doesn't affect me because guess what? I got my $4 bottle of syrup right here. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I'm good.
You have it.
I stay prepared. Gotta stay prepared. I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm on it.
Woo!
So,
Uh,
when that happens, it's like you can spend your money however you see fit because at the end of
right.
the day, I still got rent at the end of the month. I still got light bill. I still got to pay the internet so I can do my job. I still have stuff that I got going on here that whether or not you spent your money on a $12 bottle of syrup does not change that.
Exactly.
But in the same household, some of the things that I do affect me, some of the things do
Right.
not. You
Yep.
have that conversation with that person. You have honest conversation about that. What your desires are, what things are considered valuable, what your obligations are financially speaking, if it's child support, if it's whatever. You have those conversations
Right.
and then y'all come to an agreement of what works for you because I absolutely cannot stand the conversation when it comes to about 50-50 in the
I
household.
hate that.
People are like,
Oh, I hate it.
people are like, oh well, that basically a roommate. Well, literally, that's what that person is. Like, I
Right.
don't know why you're
Which is
trying
which,
to.
again, which is why I'm like, that's not for me.
Mhm.
That relationship dynamic isn't for me. And
Yeah.
I understood. I'm so thankful that I figured that out early. I don't like to
Mhm.
share. I don't like to explain myself. I hate that. And I'm
Mhm.
really not about to justify my my things to you so that we can what's the word? I don't want to have to take something away from you that you want because in my mind I don't see the value in it. That's not fair. That's why I'm like, you know what? It's not for me. Now, I will say when it comes to, I'm going to be honest, people who shun polyamory or open relationships don't understand the dynamics of them. When in actuality, a lot of them would probably benefit from relationships in that dynamic. I was working at a nightclub in Atlantic City once, and one of the dancers was in a polyamory relationship. Now I asked her, like, what is the difference between a polyamory relationship and an open relationship? And I'm gonna back up a little bit. I noticed this immediately because there were 6 girls, and out of the 6 girls, she was the one in the polyamory relationship. Everybody else was in an monogamous relationship. She was always the happiest bitch in the room. She was
Mhm.
always happy, had a
Wow.
smile on her face, giddy all the time. The other 5 were always angry, sad,
Mhm.
depressed, frustrated. Almost none of them was secure in their relationship like she was. And she had a husband and a boyfriend. Her
Mhm.
boyfriend had a girlfriend. Her
Mhm.
husband had a girlfriend. Now,
Mm.
the husband and wife did not have children, but their significant others, they had kids.
Mhm.
Sometimes she would take both kids and spend the weekend with them. They would take their kids and spend they had a dynamic that worked for them. They spent time together as a family. They spent time separately. The husband and wife had their own household, and they also brought in the girlfriend sometimes, the boyfriend sometimes. It was a community, and it worked. And I'm like, this is fascinating to me. Everybody judged her. Everybody was like, couldn't be me. I can't share. I don't understand that. I had to ask questions because it's like I think that I could be in an open relationship. Don't know about polyamory, but if the because the thing about it is with that kind of relationship, with that dynamic, it requires communication. It will not work otherwise. You have to talk. Everybody has to speak. And in monogamous relationships, it doesn't all you be so afraid to speak. You be so afraid to you're going to hurt that person's feelings, or they're going to misinterpret what you're saying, that people hold things in. You hold your emotions hostage, and then you explode when you finally reach your breaking point. Can't work in an open relationship or a polyamory relationship. You have to talk. And I feel like a lot of people would benefit from that because it forces you to open your mouth.
There is a guarded um, way of life
I
that we
agree,
adopt
Ricky. I agree.
before we even. What do you
Mm-hmm.
say?
No, he said probably because they had a not so good relationship with that other person. But I get it. Everyone should talk. Everybody should talk. And like there's so many instances where in monogamous relationships you get shamed for speaking. You take the constructive criticism as an insult. You don't hear. You don't listen with the intent to understand what's being
Right.
said to you. You immediately put up a wall. You're affronted. You're insulted, and it's like, but I'm trying to talk to you.
Okay, so Synovia, I want you to kind of elaborate on that just a little bit if you don't mind, because I know you usually have some pretty insightful things to say. She said some people still would not communicate. So I'm hoping that you can kind of elaborate when you say some people. Are we talking about the people that are in the polyamory situation, or are we talking about something else? So
Okay.
shed some light on that for me. But we tend to kind of function in this guarded state where
Mm-hmm.
uh, we're we're attached to our actions. We're attached to our things. If we start
Right.
to share those, we feel like we're sharing us, not realizing that doesn't define us. That's just that's just a thing, but it can be
Right.
detached if we learn how to process it the way it's supposed to be. So we don't communicate, because then you're going to look at me some type of way, you're going to judge me, you're going to feel some type of way about me, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
want that. So I'm going to keep it here, and then I'm going to start moving, but I'm going to start moving behind this wall with the
Right.
one person who I should be the most transparent in. Individual, yes, the individuals in the relationship, if they're not familiar with that type of relationship, yes, you're absolutely
Oh
right.
yeah.
I don't know I don't know enough about it,
I don't
and
either. I've never been in that type of situation. But and honestly, I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't. I'm open to it because it's something different that I can say I tried and it didn't work. I'm that type of person. I will try
let's see.
something. If I do not like it, I'm gonna like, you know what, this wasn't for me. I'm good on this. I'm not gonna like. There's very few instances where I'm like, no. There's very few because I don't know what I don't know.
I think the reason why I look at it the way that I do personally
Hmm.
is only because I encounter people who I knew that would never work with, whether it
Okay.
was another man in the situation or if it was another woman in the situation for me. Um, I knew that it would never work for them. And that's part of the reason why some of them are no longer a factor. Because I go back to my two rules in this. It's like I don't deal well with insecurity
I don't
because I'm
either.
an open book. I'm an open book. I'm not open book with everybody about my situation, but I'm an open book with the person who's in the situation.
Hmm.
Um, because people like to invite themselves into your stuff and tell you what they think. They give you unsolicited advice. Let me tell you what I think. I didn't ask you. Go deal
Ricky
with your
just said,
stuff.
in my opinion and experiences, it's important to get over yourself, especially in relationships. And that is why
Egos, definitely egos.
egos, and let me tell you something. I say every time I say this to a man, it immediately shuts them down when I'm trying to communicate. The male ego is about as durable as a disposable toilet seat cover.
Facts.
It is so delicate. It is so fragile. And if you have on nails, you're ripping shit. You can't the ego on a man, sometimes it is just so tissue paper thin that women have to, we tend to have to tiptoe around certain things. However, some women, same thing. Some women's egos are as fragile as, I don't know, like lashes, like lash glue. Like, I don't understand why some women
I know
cannot
this is not.
communicate or hear.
I know this is not a part of the conversation, but it does shed some light on one thing that just popped in my head. The conversation that's been floating around, especially on TikTok, where we're now talking about why black men tend to date outside their race because they don't want to deal with black women anymore. This is the reason why. It's
Mm-hmm.
because that ego
It's
is
so
so
inflated.
fragile.
Mm-hmm.
It's so inflated, but it's so fragile. It's like a balloon
Fragile.
that all you have to do is say one thing in the realm of criticism.
Mm-hmm.
What we heard you do, I'm gonna tell you what we heard. You said, Jeremy, I really feel like this is a thing that I'm not getting enough of. Like, I really want you to pay more attention to, you know, this aspect. When you do that, that makes me feel better. If you can do that for me. What I heard was, Jeremy, you ain't shit. You ain't never gonna be shit. You ain't never about nothing. Nobody needs you in their life because you're never gonna amount to anything. You just trash like your daddy who you never met. That's what we
Yeah.
heard. That's exactly what we heard. And so from that, we're now saying that, dang man, these black women, man, they just can't
You
please
can't
them,
do
man. They got
nothing right.
attitudes and da 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 da, not looking. And I love shows that do this. They do that perspective thing where it's like they show from the perspective of a certain character and then they like pull back and it's like what's really happening. I love
Yes.
those. And that's exactly
Yes.
what's happening is that what we saw is totally different from what really happened in the room. And we're so stuck in our feelings we can't step out of ourselves for 5 seconds to see that. So what happens is some of those people will equate that to say that this only happens with black men and black women. And the reason why
Yes.
that happens that way, here's the reason why that happens. Because black women cared enough to criticize us. That's what it is. If I was to date,
I'm
and
done.
I'm speaking generally, of course, there are exceptions, but generally speaking, black women cared enough to criticize it, to say, I want you to be a better you. I want you to be your
That's
best
all.
you. So I'm criticizing this so that you can grow up and do better, or step up and do better.
And that is
But if
exactly
I
why
go
I
over here,
prioritize want over need. That is exactly why
right,
I prioritize the want over the need, because it frees you up to do better.
right,
Eliminate the bullshit. I don't
hmm
need you to do these minute things for me. If you want to do
hmm
them, great, that's a bonus. But I'm freeing you from the expectations that society has for you and me so that you can be better.
yeah. So you've destroyed my ego, but Becky over here
Strokes it.
is not. Yeah, because she's not going to tell me those things. She said,
Because
well,
she doesn't
no, there's
understand the
nothing wrong
nuances
with
of
you.
the black plight, the black male
Boom,
plight.
boom. And
She
so
doesn't
because she doesn't
understand that.
understand, she can't speak to that.
Nope.
And so because she can't speak to that, she's going to do what she thinks is supposed to happen because she's going to give you what life gave her.
Ricky says, hold on. I'm gonna give. Okay, people needs to get over themselves. I say this respectfully, of course. Yes and no on what he said. What? Ricky, elaborate a little bit. Yes and no to what?
Yeah, please
I'm
elaborate on
curious to this, but yeah, I I
that.
really
But
want
yeah, but
us to
that's
have
that's
that.
yeah, and like I said, like, and that's a conversation I'm probably gonna open up. I want to do this more often because this is literally my first time digging
Oh,
this deep. I'm usually
oh,
pulling
really?
up on other people's lives. I'm usually pulling up on other people's lives. Synovia is one of the lives I pop up on. That she has
Okay.
conversations and stuff like that. So
Okay.
I've never really done this to this depth, but I was like, this is
Okay.
something I want to start doing more often because the
Yes.
conversations that I keep coming across every time I open my For You page, that they're
Oh,
being had, but they're not being had.
yeah. He says yes and no to about black men choosing white women over black women. Yes and no, but the reasons that Jeremy gave are valid to some black men. Black men feel that they're tired of justifying their actions to black women when black women aren't really asking for you to justify your actions. We're just asking you to adjust them a little bit. We're not
Yeah.
really, like I said before, like this whole conversation, when I said we don't need you, it's about wanting you. I'm
Mm.
all, if I want you, that is the highest level. It's always going to be greater. Want is always going to be greater than the need. And when I remove the need off of your back, it frees you up to do better for yourself, things that actually matter. Now, I'm
Mhm.
not saying that there aren't certain women that prioritize their needs over the wants of themselves and their partner, which confuses the fuck out of me. That baffles me. Like, I'll be like, wait, we talked about the physical things, the things that women prioritize as far as vanity. As far as vanity goes, I'm like, I cannot for the life of me make my brain compute why some women will prioritize the vanity. They put that on their list of things that a man has to provide. Things like what? Like I just want to like point this one out. I know so many gorgeous black women
Mhm.
that will struggle, will be in a relationship with a man who makes millions, and they won't help them. That is a different conversation. If you are struggling and you are in a relationship with a man that is in a position to financially help you, that is a different set of circumstances. I will never respect a man, especially a black one, who is with a black woman who is financially struggling and you will not assist. I hate that.
Wolf, I'm about to put you in timeout. You cutting up.
What is what?
He's
What?
he okay. Wolf is the homie at this point because he has no filters. He said for me, a man has to be able to put it down.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Oh,
putting you in
okay.
timeout, sir.
That's fine.
He cutting up.
Fair. I mean, we all have
It's fair.
our list
No,
of
it's fair.
priorities.
It's absolutely fair. That is definitely a priority for a lot of people. So I get it. That is look. If
I'm never going to prioritize money in any man that I date. I can't do it. I don't know. I'm not gonna. Like I said, I will pay for things. If that is insulting to your male ego, if that emasculates you in a certain way, like you do realize that I want to fuck you at some point. So how is that emasculating? Like that always like that.
I have I've dated women that made six figures, and like majority of the things that we did were things that she was already doing that I got introduced to because I couldn't afford them. So most of the time, she's spending because, like I told you, the conversation we had early on. Hey, I want to go to such and such. Yeah, that ain't in the budget. That's
I
cool.
got
I
it.
got you.
I got it. That
Bet.
is the
Let's go.
end of the conversation. I want time with you. I do not need you to pay for it in order for us to have fun, in order for us to enjoy each other. Take the need out of it.
Hmm.
Take the need out. Ricky said, "Yeah, that's bad." Okay, yeah, like I again, I had a friend who was just brilliant, and she ran a business and was struggling with her car. This man made so much money. And I can understand to a certain extent, Black women have a sense of pride, dignity, whatever. If you see me driving a bucket and you know that a new car is a drop in the bucket for you, buy her a car. Buy her a car. If you are in a relationship with this woman and you see it going somewhere, she lived in his house. She lived in his house and she struggled for a while and drove and was so afraid of her car breaking down on the freeway. And I'm like, your man makes so much motherfucking money. Even if he bought you a used car, a better one, he could literally whip out his a titanium Amex and get you something safe so that you are comfortable.
I
I don't
realized something.
I don't understand.
I realized something about that. It,
Mm,
it, it I think it fully supports what we've been saying. When I talked about your the coffee, when you said, oh, don't bring me flowers, bring me coffee, it's not a need for you, but is a want, but it helps. When I see that you need certain supplies, when you're doing whatever for your business, let me fund your next shipment of supplies.
Right.
You don't need that because at the end of the day, you still got it.
Right.
However, it helps. So
It
when it comes to
helps.
this situation, this is no different because she had a car, she can get where she gotta go. So it's not necessarily a need because even without the car, she can still walk, she can ride a bike, she can Uber, whatever. So it's not necessarily a need. It still fits the want category, but it helps. So it literally
No, she
goes
needed the
back to
car.
what
It
we
was it was bad. It
no, no,
was
no,
it
no,
was
no,
bad.
no,
She
no.
needed
I get how bad it. I get the severity. I get the severity,
right.
but I want to take severity out of the equation and just get to the
Right.
core of it. She had a car.
Hmm.
If the car broke down, she got two legs. She can walk. It's an inconvenience,
Yes.
but it's not necessarily a necessity. So, with that being said, if he sees this
Hmm.
and he knows this helps to make things simpler, make things more convenient, to smooth out the stress, he does something that helps. I know you got to get to work. I know you got
Let
XYZ
me
over
get it
here.
fixed. Ricky's here is like, let me help you fix the car instead of replacing the car. See, like Ricky get it. Ricky get it. He's
Right.
like, I want to
Even,
say to you both, I'm enjoying this show. I wish I could be in the video with you too. I do too, Ricky.
look, Ricky, look. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something, Ricky, because like you've been dropping some gems. Um, what I want to do in the future, because I don't want to necessarily. I did this only because of the initial reaction to your video. But what I
Hmm.
want to say is I don't want to limit it to that. So if there are other people, hit me up, hit her up. She got access to me at this point now.
Hmm.
um we can have future conversations. They've opened it up where multiple people can be
Yeah.
on Instagram Live. We got it where you got StreamYard,
Oh,
so we
never
can
heard of that
have
one.
these conversations. Yeah. Matter of fact, I speak. That's literally his go-to. Whenever he goes live, people, that's
Ah.
he does it through StreamYard, and from StreamYard, he broadcasts it onto YouTube. So and I've actually been on with him, and I absolutely love StreamYard.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so
Ricky's
in
like,
the
well, I'm
future,
happily married. Yeah, Ricky's married. I've known Ricky since college, so he can
yes, yes.
understand a good amount of this conversation. Yeah.
So and that's perfect because now you can provide some of these some insight because it's two single people talking here. So you can provide insight in these future conversations with from a married perspective, and that absolutely is a good thing that we
Mhm.
because I'm open to having these conversations in the future. I love to talk about stuff, all of the
Yeah.
things.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
definitely stay in touch or whatever, and we're gonna make that happen. Um,
Emphasis on happy. I know, Rick. I know you happily married. Ricky's like,
that's
I
what
am
I'm talking
happily
about.
married. Yes.
That's what I'm
Yes.
talking about. I love love. That's what I'm talking about. I love love. I'm a hopeless romantic.
I'm a pessimist, so it's like I have no heart.
I, res-
Um
I respect that. I respect that.
I have no heart. I have no emotions.
I am a hopeless romantic coated with a realistic perception.
Mm,
Like I believe that, I believe in love, I believe in, all of those things or whatever the case may be, but
yeah.
I can attach it to real life where I don't go floating off and not understand that there are other things that come into play when it comes to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, this was fun.
definitely, definitely. I
This was
appreciate
fun.
you giving me a time. I know you're a busy woman, and I've seen even on your lives you'll be doing makeup and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, she always just on go. So I
Yeah,
don't
I
know if I'm gonna
am.
catch her. I don't know if
I'm
I'm gonna
always
catch her, but
going.
I definitely appreciate your time
No
and taking the
problem.
time to talk to me.
Thank you for asking because I honestly was like, I didn't get a bad reaction from that video, but I did want to like elaborate. I feel like you said,
Hmm.
nuance is important, so I did want to further elaborate on what exactly I meant. Like I meant it because like I don't know what time it is right now. I'm on my phone, but a girl's about to use one of her apps to order some food.
Listen, I'm about to do the same thing because I ain't been to the store, so I'm about to do the same thing. But
I'm
no,
not cooking.
but to your point, that's the reason why I was very intentional about the caption that I put. I was like,
Hmm.
what? For the sake of comedy, but I said
Yeah,
she said this for a reason.
I did.
I purposely put that because when people see my video, I want them to understand that when they hear you, that they don't react. Like I'm, I'm validating what is being said on the other side of this video
Thank
because there's
you.
a point to it.
Thank you. Appreciate
My pleasure, my pleasure. So
it.
yeah, definitely stay in touch. I'm gonna let
We'll
you get
do.
back, go ahead and grub. I'm gonna go give me some good food.
Sorry, I just got hit. I just my mom's calling me.
Hey, be like that.
Sorry.
That's a sign right there. It's time to go ahead and wrap it up. So I'm gonna wrap it up and definitely talk to you in the near future.
Okay. Good night, guys. Bye.
So, Wolf and Synovia, I see you're still here. Appreciate you for sticking it out with me. I had another that was here. And Synovia, particularly, it is a pleasure to have you here in my life. I know I pop up in yours from time to time, so to have you come to visit me, this is definitely a pleasure. And hopefully, with some of these conversations, we can actually, have you in them because I definitely value when you have something to contribute. Wolf, never a dull moment with you, man. Never a dull moment. Always appreciate you coming and bringing your vibes and your energy and thoughts to certain things. So, like I said, we'll be doing this in the future. Um, I'm kind of going to be all over the place in the coming weeks. I'm going to be back on Twitch probably tomorrow. So, if you just want to hang out, I'll be on Twitch tomorrow. Nothing super deep, but just kind of a little bit of gaming and stuff like that, and just talking about whatever. Um, and then I'll probably pick back up on the lives next week. I'm gonna kind of take a break over the weekend, maybe drop a couple of videos, but starting next week, I'll be back on the lives, probably either with her or with some others. And if any of you want to join in, um, to do a live and have a conversation, I'm open to that too. So in the meantime, y'all have a blessed evening. I'm about to go eat. Peace.